All right, perfect. Thank you. Bye. So I'll look it up. I probably could have put him on the air right there. Mike Richards gone from Jeopardy.
Oh,
yeah. So
wow.
that's like I don't know if you could hear. I'm just gonna put that on. Who cares? We didn't say anything out of it.
I didn't hear anything of it.
You didn't hear it. All right. No. So Kirk just called me. He gets in the car. He sees that Mike Richards, who was just and we talked about it a little bit because of the Ringer story. Basically, he has some old audio out where he's talking about, one of his former podcast hosts or whatever it was, where she dressed up in booty shorts or what. All this audio we played on the Today Show, but we speculated whether or not he would get fired from Jeopardy after this Ringer piece about him, and it turns out he's leaving the show. So after this piece, so that happened literally just now after we recorded. So that's just the life of recording podcasts, right?
That's right. No,
so
hashtag Kirk was right. Didn't we? Didn't he say that she was?
Yeah.
She's going to be short-lived as the host?
He predicted it. I wasn't expecting it. So that was one of the topics we talked about on the show. I'm going to leave that in there. Who cares? Kirk called me. Right? I thought it was on Bluetooth. We could have just popped him up and he would have broke the news on the wrap-up. So I'll put a little note in the description for everybody out there just to say that came out after the podcast. But as I was just saying, it's the lead up to Saco. Saco is tomorrow, and we talked about on the show, Justin, and I've said it on the show in the past, like Justin, top to bottom, to all my knowledge, like dominated putting together Saco. Food, everything. And it just turns out one thing has kind of not slipped through the cracks, but as of yesterday or as of early this morning, he told me that he couldn't get a hold of the person who is bringing and setting up the stage, which is kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah. So,
it's kind of a big deal because you were talking about too, like, well, what are they're just going to like be on the grass or whatever? Yeah, sit in dirt.
So I will say, Kirk suggested you reach out to Gig and Tony in Maine.
Yep.
So one thing that maybe we should have asked on air, but so what happened with that? Did you reach out to them while we were taping or have you not done that yet?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay.
So no, but they're just people that are in the area that I know would be helpful in that.
But they got to do it by 2, and right now it's what? It's
which is why we're
11:56.
Correct. Which is why we're gonna. I think that place will be a little more flexible, knowing it's kind of like it's a last minute thing. All that's. I think they'll be flexible to some extent on that. But that was they're not open on the weekend, so we got to pick it up now and then drop it off on Monday. I have it ready to go, so it's all set up. It's just the pickup and the delivery, and then we can put it together tomorrow.
You say but it sounds like you'll be doing that alone.
Yeah, but I'm sure somebody's in the area will help me, don't you think?
I don't know. Who would you ask to help you with?
Gig and Tony, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but they pick it up. Yeah, but it's going to be in their truck. They're going to have to hold it overnight, which sucks that this is happening and they
don't even know this yet.
They don't even know this at this point. So it's one of the, we'll work on that. And immediately after this, that's why I was thinking about bagging this so I could take care of that, because that does seem like a pressing issue, doesn't it?
I would think so.
Yeah, does it not? So, but Justin did. He did do a good job. Obviously, we announced last week that Justin was taking some time, and it was in the air whether or not he was going to be here today or go to Saco. If you didn't see the tweets, he's not going to be, obviously he wasn't here today, and he's not going to be in Saco. So we're wishing all good things for Justin. Hopefully he's back soon, getting healthy, taking care of himself. That's all that matters. So what else did we touch on today, actually? It was kind of a hodgepodge of news. We went on we had Rico and Pat on because of the dozen. Great episode. Just great episode. Unfortunately, Team Minahan took the L, which was shocking to witness. But it was a great episode all around. Rico, I thought, with some unbelievable answers. So it seems like the team camaraderie there is gelling. They just got to get the W's. Yeah,
it's a tough defeat that way. I would put money on Kirk's team winning next week, though. I think it was like they had some questions that just kind of lined up properly for, was it the fellas? That's the other team?
Yep.
But they were better than I thought they would have been. And Rico was better than I thought he would have been. So, I guess obviously we'll watch next week. But.
Yeah, I always watch those shows, and I'm always pissed at myself for not thinking things. That Slingbox answer was fantastic. I mentioned that on the show. I just remember radio did ads for the Slingbox like crazy. Like Big O, like, oh my God, did he whore out the Slingbox? But that was an answer that he busted out. And then Tom, like you were saying, I would have bet Garmin too, just because they were kind of the first player in my eyes in the GPS world there. So it was a great one to watch. The Masters question he got was absurd. Just the fact that that's on the top of his head and he remembers that, insane. So it was a great one. We'll watch the rematch, so that'll be good. What else did we touch on? Oh, Scott Spears. Some of us called Scott Spears.
Very
we played
funny.
The montage. I got to learn the ropes on the prank calls. The problem with Scott Spears was very chatty, very easy to talk to, And so it takes you into a different path where you just stop. I even listened Tim talk to him, and like, it's tough to get all the show references in a very quick manner because Scott is so conversational and kind of nerdy, and I don't know. So I gave it a shot. There was more to my call than we played on the show. Maybe I'll podcast it. Can I do that with the... I wonder if I have to get his permission to podcast it on like our YouTube channel so people can hear these full calls. Danny and Bill Ricker was on with him for 25 minutes.
Guess he'd be okay. So did Tim put that montage together? It was very funny.
Yeah. So we were both just going back and forth about, are they going to put it on demand or not? And then I had cut up audio, and then I see in the Dropbox that he put together the montage. So I'm super appreciative that he went through that effort. Yeah. So, and it's very helpful when you have people on the phone with them for 10 minutes at length, multiple times. So it was good. But Scott Spears, he angered some of his listeners because the Minifans took over yesterday. So that was quite funny. Other things we just kind of talked about was Max Kellerman leaving ESPN's First Take, it looks like. Nothing too crazy with that. We got some background story too with Jackie McMullen, who's retiring from ESPN. Kirk had her on Enough About Me and heard some stories between, from their relationship. But besides that, it was all Sacco, all the dozen, and just kind of a hodgepodge.
So this is your first. You went to the vigil.
I went to the vigil, but that was just kind of like a random event.
Yeah, I did not go to that.
Yeah.
But so this is your first kind of major big show event. Yep. Are you excited? Like, what's your excitement?
No, I'm not excited whatsoever. I mean, I'm excited to, in normal world, if everything was set up, if the stage was there and everything was taken care of or whatever, it would just be, and you can relax because the technology side doesn't worry me. Like, I think we'll be fine there. Everything's good. It's just the stress of...
Like the logistics?
Yeah, and I would have been stressed out anyway because I was just, and maybe this is something I need to learn in this role, was when Justin took it over, like I let him take it over in the sense of I didn't go to him and get like a checklist or whatever. I asked him about things periodically. He said that we're taken care of, but I always in the back of my mind would be like a little nervous about that because somebody else fully took it over. So I got to learn from this and say, like, it's okay to ask for a little bit more information. It's okay to collaborate on these things more, even though he took it and fucking ran with it in the beginning. And I was super appreciative because that was like my first day on the job. He had already had it done. So I probably would have been stressed out that like I didn't handle that anyway. But I think once we get there and this stage thing will get figured out, I think it'll calm down. All the tech, all the setup will be taken care of early, and we can I can mingle hopefully and hang out with people that I want to meet and say hi to in the beginning, and then we can focus on the show at night. I think it'll be good.
I think, these live events, we saw it at Madawaska with electricity or what have you. There's always going to be something. Like, that's just how, there's so many different elements. There's always going to be one thing that's kind of fucked up or tough to handle. But I will say on the other end of it, though, these things always end up working out. Like, everyone's going to have a great time. I was at both shows in Saco last year. Everyone was having a blast. It's so much fun to see everyone, to meet people. As I'm sure there's a bunch of fans you maybe haven't met yet that I'm sure you'd be excited to meet. Like, and they're going to be excited. It's just a really positive, fun energy. Despite what you might see on Twitter, like, when everyone's all together, it's a really fun time.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, even the side of like the stage thing is a monster fucking issue. And I hear people like they heard the Mistake show and they're like, how do you work for that fucking guy? Or you see it on Twitter. And then you tell them that a live show where people are paying money, driving an insane distance to get to, that there's a major factor missing. And he's he doesn't, like anybody else in that situation would be like, a stage is missing, you fucking idiot. And he responds like, you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that from a employee to boss standpoint. So I think we'll get it all done and it'll be a good time. Hopefully everybody has a great time. Hopefully the weather cooperates. And that's that, really. I mean, I'm looking forward to it.
He's pretty fair and understanding. There's one episode where Steve thought he might have lost the sound early on.
Yep.
And he was like, like kind of mistakes happen. Like, I mean, as long as you're not being malicious, like, shit happens.
Yeah, and I'm learning
to be pretty fair about that.
One of the things, and now I feel like a fucking asshole about it, I'm learning to
you probably should.
Yeah, and I don't want to, like the communication style of the show. I don't know. I should be more okay with texting like ideas that are in my head and just running it by him and not caring if he calls me a douchebag or doesn't respond or whatever. I should just toss it because a lot of the stuff on the content side, I always just assume he's going to be the one to spearhead to say, I want to do this and go do it. So like videos from people that happened last year with Barstool personalities, I'm thinking it because I know it happened last year, but I wait to see if he would tell me if to do that. You know what I mean? Because I just think it's coming from him, and that's something I should just be like, fuck it. Text Kirk, see if he wants it. If he does, great. If he doesn't, you know, it is what it is and move on. You know,
Yeah,
or just do it and see. You can give me shit for it if I just do
I think that's what he was more angling at. But I will say, too, it's a pretty small staff here. It's you, Justin, and Kirk. So, I mean, you know, it's going to have to be some sort of collaboration.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you guys have to kind of work together.
Oh, no, and I'm not blaming anybody. It's, if anybody, I'm blaming myself for just not being like either putting it out there myself or just doing it. So it's a good learning lesson.
I think, when, you know, the cool thing with something like this, you know, with the Sacco, the last time Kirk gave Carano and I, or Steve called us and gave Carano and I a couple slots.
Yep.
Didn't make any promises, just said, hey, here's a couple slots. And he gave us free reign, so we could be as creative as we wanted to. We did a couple videos, and it was really fun to kind of have that. It's like, where else are you going to get that chance to do something, you know, a blank slate creatively?
Yes.
So, like, he gave that to you. Like, next time he does that, like, take it in. Do it. If you have an idea, do it.
Yeah.
Chances are, if you like the idea, other people will too. Like, you know?
No, and I think either way, I mean, in his world, if it's a good idea, great, you're having fun. If it's a bad idea, it's even better.
And he can trash it, and then that's funny too. So either way, you kind of can't lose.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like, obviously, I know these things about him, but it's just still something where it's like it's been 30 days, or maybe 45. I don't even think it's been 45 days. So it's just like you're learning little quirks, like it's an event 45 days into starting a new job. I don't know. I'm not making excuses. I know what to do. It's just kind of, it's weird how it all transpires. But either way, it's good learning lessons all the way across the board. And at the end of the day, we got to end this fucking show because I'm going to go find a stage.
One last question before we do.
Yeah.
Are we going to see that Quantum Week video tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. You'll see something Quantum Week. I do, you know, because I do, you know, we can make jokes on the show, whatever. I like you guys, and I know you're okay with me poking fun at you because you know it's going to suck anyway. My thing is, the execution of the idea just didn't play out the way, actually 4 of my fucking ideas, not just with your show, other things, 4 of them didn't play out from a funny humor standpoint, and it just like pisses me off. So it's more about that. It just came off, like I said, douchey and mean, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make it funny, so hopefully you guys laugh at the mocking as opposed to thinking like, was he just trying to be an asshole for no reason? Like, it just wasn't my intention, you know?
Well, I'll never forgive you if it's too mean.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be really upset. I'm sure you'll be really upset by it. All right, well, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Have a safe trip. We will see you tomorrow, and I appreciate your time today for sure.
Perfect. Excited to see a stage tomorrow in Saco.
Yes, hopefully. Cross your fingers. All right, we're out of here.